Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Today I am going to discuss with you the histology of thyroid and parathyroid gland. These are also very important endocrine glands in human body. So first of all, the thyroid gland, which is present in the anterior part of the neck in the cervical region. This is present and lying anterior to the larynx and upper part of the trachea. This is bilobate structure as it is having two lateral lobes on the right and left side. These are the two lateral lobes which are connected in the midline through the isthmus. This isthmus is mostly covering the upper part of the trachea. It is highly vascular gland and it is covered by the capsule, which is a connective tissue capsule, and then this is very dense irregular type of connective tissue capsule. From the capsule, the fine septas, they pass into the gland and they are going to divide it into some indistinct lobules. These septas, as you know, every in the gland that is going to provide the passageway for the passage of the blood vessels, nerves and lymphatic. So the thyroid gland, that is composed of parenchyma and stroma. The parenchyma, or you can say its structural or functional unit, that is the follicle, that is split and divided into multiple follicles, that is approximately 20 to 30 million spherical cyst-like structures. These are the thyroid follicles and they are making up the parenchyma of thyroid gland. These follicles, these are lined up by the squamous to cuboidal or simple low columnar epithelium, and they are filled with the colloid material, which is a gelatinous material in their lumen. These are surrounded by the capillary blood vessels, which are the fenestrated blood vessels, and these follicles, they are separated from each other by very thin septas which are extends down into the parenchyma of thyroid gland through capsule. So this is actually the reticular fiber which is separating the thyroid follicles from each other. The thyroid follicle has two types of the cell: the follicular cells, which are the principal cells encircling the thyroid follicle, and the parafollicular cells, which you can see here, these outside, these are the parafollicular cells. Here on the upper and the lower aspect, on its posterior side, it is having small pea-size parathyroid gland. In the parathyroid gland, there is just anastomosing clusters of the cells, which we are going to discuss later. So when we look into the histological structure of the thyroid gland, it is composed of stroma, which is the connective tissue capsule, and it sends septas inside into the whole of the gland, dividing it into the indistinct lobules, as well as it is separating its functional unit of the parenchyma, that are the thyroid follicles. This is composed of reticular fibers. Then it is also carrying along with it the blood vessels, nerves and lymphatics. And if you talk about the parenchyma, that is the functional and structural unit of the thyroid gland, it consists of, as I have told you, 20 to 30 millions of the spherical cyst-like structures which are lined up by the cuboidal epithelium. These are thyroid follicles, and they are filled up with the colloid material, that is the gelatinous material stored inside in the follicles. And it is also having the parafollicular cells which are present in the parenchyma. So again you can see a bit histological picture in which you can see these multiple thyroid follicles lined up by the cuboidal epithelium, that is the simple cuboidal epithelium, and it is filled up with this gelatinous colloid material. These cells are the follicular cells which are lining up the follicle and also known as the principal cells, and these are the parafollicular cells. Here this is the connective tissue reticular fibers which are separating these colloids from colloid filled thyroid follicles from each other. Now here you can see this is actually the histological picture which you have to draw in your copy, that is showing you all the components. This is the parenchyma divided by the lobules through these connective tissue septas which extends down from its capsule, and in these septas you can appreciate these blood vessels. These are the blood vessels here again. So that is actually the fenestrated type of the capillaries which are surrounding and lie along these connective tissue septas. You can also see that here these multiple colloid filled spherical thyroid follicles which are lined up by the follicular cells, and mostly these are the simple cuboidal epithelium. And in certain areas you can also appreciate these parafollicular cells which lie outside the follicles. So here you can see these are the parafollicular cells. So this is the histological slide which is stained with hematoxylin and eosine, and here you can appreciate these multiple thyroid follicles which are filled up with the colloid material, and these are lined up by the epithelial cells which are the follicular cells. These cells, they range from simple squamous to simple cuboidal and can be assumed the shape of simple columnar epithelium depending upon the functional state of the gland. The follicular cells at the same time, simultaneously, these are going to perform the function to synthesize and secrete the hormone. They are having the absorptive characteristic and the digestive ability which can digest the proteins present in this colloid material. So these are going to perform all these characteristic features simultaneously. So definitely in their cytoplasm they are going to have the responsible and respective organelles as well, that depending upon the functional state of the gland, this is going to have the simple squamous epithelium which is lined up these thyroid follicle when the thyroid gland is inactive. When it is going and moving towards the active state, then this is going to become the cuboidal, and in hyperactive gland, which you can see in this third picture, where the epithelium, the thyroid follicular lining epithelium becomes the low columnar epithelium, which you can see very easily here. And these the cells, they are going to have the property to absorb and engulf the colloid material inside into the cell. So here these scalloped margins which you can see here, this is because of the absorption of this colloid material into the follicular cells for the production and release of the hormones from the thyroid gland, from the cells of the thyroid gland. So what are the hormones released by the thyroid? These are the actually three types of hormones which are released from the thyroid gland. These are the tetraiodothyronine, which is thyroxine hormone, T4, then is the triiodothyronine, T3, and the parafollicular cells are responsible to secrete the calcitonin hormone. So if you see the electron microscopic picture of a cell of thyroid follicle, that is a bit cuboidal, simple cuboidal follicular cell, and in its ultrastructure you can see here that this is having its basal site, which is resting on the basement membrane, and towards the basal part of the cell there are abundant rough endoplasmic reticulums. These are present here. Then this is the centrally located nucleus, which is round in structure. This is a round spherical nucleus which is located in the center of the cell. Moving towards apical pole or apical part, there are abundant Golgi apparatus, you can see here, and there are these thyroid vesicles. These are the secretory vesicles or the secretory granules, which have the same composition as that of the thyroid follicle. So these are the thyroid colloid containing secretory granules which are present towards the apical pole, and also there are abundant lysosomes. These are present on the surface, apical surface of the follicular cell. There are microvilli, which you can see here. These microvilli are present here. At the basal side of the cell, there are the iodide pump which are present here, and because of these iodide pump, the iodide, it passes through the cytoplasm, and these are going to enter into the cytoplasm through this basal part, basal plasma membrane of the cell, where these iodide pumps are present. And then this iodide is going to enter and passing through the cytoplasm, and they are carried towards the apical region of the follicular cells, where there is oxidation of the iodide is going to take place, and iodine is going to form. So by the oxidation of iodide, iodine is formed here in this Golgi apparatus, and then this iodine is carried out by thyroid peroxidase enzyme, which are located at the apical plasma membrane of the follicular cells. Here there is the iodination of the tyrosine residues of thyroglobulin is going to take place, and then this iodination, it results in the monoiodotyrosine, diiodotyrosine residues to form. And because of this iodination and then oxidation of oxidative coupling of the tyrosine residues, it leads to the formation of two thyroid hormones, T3, which is triiodothyronine, and T4, tetraiodothyronine. And I hope you know it from the physiology how these hormones are going to form. So here in this secretory vesicle, as it has this thyroglobulin containing colloid, so this enzyme, which is thyroid peroxidase, this is responsible for oxidative iodination of the colloid component, and then responsible for release of T3 and T4 into the cytoplasm. So that's how these hormones are going to formed. The tetraiodothyronine, that is is known as thyroxine hormone, and these are all T3 and T4, both of them, these are very important thyroid hormone which have these T3 and T4 hormones which are synthesized. These are going to remain attached with the thyroglobulin molecule and then stored in these colloid material which is present in these thyroid follicle. So this is going to remain stored there, and so you can say this is very unusual feature of the endocrine gland, in which the secretory product from the cells is going to stored in these colloid material, and they are stored in a very greater amount. And also this is occurring in the extracellular areas. So in other glands you have seen that the secretions are stored in the cell, but these are going to stored at these extracellular compartments in the colloid in very large amount. And whenever there is a requirement or need of these hormones, and this is going to resorption of the colloid into the follicular cell, that is under influence of the thyroid stimulating hormone from the anterior pituitary gland. Then what happens at that time? These microvilli which you have seen present along the apical side of the plasma membrane, they facilitate the endocytosis and engulfing up of the colloid material into small vesicle. These are membrane bound vesicles which have going to take along with them the some of the colloid, and then they enter inside into the cytoplasm of thyroid follicle. And there these vesicles, these are fused with the lysosomes, and then lysosomal proteases degrades the thyroglobulin molecule and then releases T3 and T4 hormone. So you have seen that here these areas which are white in color, these are the areas from where the colloid is going to eaten up and taken up inside into the follicular cells through the microvilli present on the apical surfaces. And then by lysosomal enzyme there is degradation of thyroglobulin molecule releasing T3 and T4 hormone. So again here you can see the multiple areas where there is some inactive thyroid follicle, and here the epithelium is either the simple squamous or the leucocuboidal type, and there are many these areas where these certain specific areas you can see having these cuboidal epithelium along with these margins which are taking up inside into the colloid material by endocytosis. So you have to draw these thyroid follicles with all either some areas showing the active or inactive follicles along with these connective tissue septas and blood vessels in them which are more. So this is the picture which is showing you the functionally very hyperactive thyroid gland, in which this thyroid follicle here these follicular cells, they become larger, and they are showing you a bit simple low columnar type of the epithelium, and then these areas where there is the engulfing up or taking inside into the cell through these microvilli of the cells present on its apical surface. These are taking this stored hormone in this colloid along with the thyroglobulin into the cytoplasm, where lysosomes are going to degrade the thyroglobulin molecule, and there is release of T3, T4, which are the hormones, and then these are going to taken by the blood vessels present along the basal side of the cells. So this is showing you larger epithelial cell with this scalloped or very engulfed part of the thyroid follicle, colloid part of the thyroid follicular areas, which you must remember that according to the state of the activity or functional activity of the thyroid gland, there is the differences in its lining epithelium of the thyroid follicle, as well as the amount of the colloid which is present in these follicles. So when the gland is inactive or are resting in state, the lining epithelium is squamous and there is abundant amount of the colloid which is filling up whole of the thyroid follicle. When it is going to become towards active state, the epithelium is becoming larger from squamous to cuboidal in shape, and there is moderate amount of the colloid. And in highly or hyperactive gland, where there is a release and secretion of the hormone as well under the effect of TSH hormone, the epithelium become low columnar, and the amount of colloid inside the thyroid follicle is scanty because it is taking up inside into the cytoplasm for the release of T3, T4 that is stored along with the thyroglobulin in this colloid. So along with these thyroid follicles, which are lined up by the follicular cells and filled up with this colloid material having the lots of stored hormone along with the thyroglobulin protein. There is also another type of the cell which is either located in a single form or they are present in a group or clusters. These are the parafollicular cells. These parafollicular cells are larger cells as compared to the thyroid follicular cell, and these are going to present within the basement membrane or basal lamina of the thyroid follicular cells. So you can say they share the basement membrane of the thyroid follicular cells, but they do not reach or extend towards the lumen of that thyroid follicle, but they are present within the basement membrane of the thyroid follicular cells. So these are either in cluster form or either single, and these parafollicular cells are responsible to lower the calcium level by release of hormone that is calcitonin. Next slide, you can see this one present in the basement membrane of the thyroid follicle, and these are present in the intermediate areas of the multiple thyroid follicle cells in between these areas, and this is larger with very lightly staining cytoplasm. So you can say this is a clear cell because with normal H and E slide in which you are utilizing hematoxylin and eosine stains, they are not taking up the stains in these routine methods. So this is a bit larger parafollicular cells present among the multiple thyroid follicles in the intermediate. So moving on to the parathyroid gland, which is present on the posterior side of the each upper and lower pole of the thyroid gland. So there are two on the upper pole and two on the lower pole of the thyroid gland. These pea-sized, very small parathyroid glands are present. These are present within the capsule of the thyroid gland, and these are embedded in it, and these parathyroid gland, they are having its connective tissue capsule which send the septas inside into the gland and then divide it into multiple lobes, and they are also sending along with that the blood of the parathyroid gland. These are arranged in the cords and clusters, and in between you can see there are the fenestrated blood vessels. These are present in between the clusters and cords of these endocrine secretory cells of the parathyroid gland. And you can see here this is going to covered and have these connective tissue capsule which is sending inside the septas and carrying along with them these blood vessels. The cells which are present in parathyroid gland, these are of two types. There is the chief cells. You can see here many and more numerous the cells which are present. These are the chief cells. These are small polygonal cells with having very pale staining nucleus and slightly acidophilic cytoplasm. Here they have the irregular shaped granules when you see them in electron microscopy. So they are having the secretory granules in their cytoplasm, which are the secretory granules having the parathyroid hormones. The other cells which you can see here, these are the oxyphil cells. These oxyphil cells, they constitute very small population, and these are larger cells as compared to the chief cells of the parathyroid gland. Their cytoplasm is acidophilic with mitochondria, and the function of the oxyphil cell is actually unknown. This is very unclear. But with increasing age, the secretory cells, they are replaced with the adipocyte cells. So here these slides which are stained with normal routine method of H&E stain slides. You can see here that along with this thyroid gland and its structure, histological structure, there is also these population of the cells which are present in clusters and cords. These lightly staining, lightly acidophilic cells, they are basically the chief cells and the principal cells in the parathyroid gland, which are having the parathyroid hormone secretory granules in their cytoplasm. And then these darkly staining cells, which are larger and they are very few in number, these are the oxyphil cells. They are having clear cytoplasm as there is no storage of any secretory granules. So these are the non-secretory cells present in the parathyroid gland. So here you can also see the chief cells, along with that oxyphil larger cells, which are clear cells having no secretory granules in them, and multiple blood vessels which are also present. These are fenestrated capillaries. So along with the thyroid gland, you can also, this is again H&E stained slide of the parathyroid gland, in which on each side you can appreciate this thyroid gland, its structure, along with this thyroid follicle and its capsule, in which the parathyroid glands are embedded. And in the structural parenchyma of the parathyroid gland, you can see two types of the cells. One, the principal chief cells having the secretory granules of the parathyroid hormones. The other one, which are, you can see here, these one having no secretory granules, these are the oxyphil cells. So these are actually the cells which are having no secretory function, and their function is also unclear. But actually these cells, they are present along with the principal or chief cells in the parathyroid gland. So these are again, so these cells which I have highlighted, these are the oxyphil cells, and the rest mainly the numerous. So again here you can see these are mostly the larger these cells, which you can see these are the principal chief cells. Among them, these are the oxyphil cells. So here this is just showing you the one of the cellular composition which is having no secretory granule in them, and that is a bit lightly staining with the clear cytoplasm. These are the oxyphil cells. So this is the whole. So thank you students. Here I end up with the histology of the endocrine system. So I hope you understand it very well. They are very important. The pituitary gland, the adrenal gland, and this histology of the thyroid gland, that is very important for examination point of view. So I hope you are going to prepare them very well. Thank you once again.